Good morning. It is noon, so we are going to go ahead and get started with today's presentation. This is a part of a three-part webinar series. Today is on the Vet Surplus Program. We'll have two other dates coming up in July, which we will talk about here shortly. Before we get started, though, we do want to go over just a few housekeeping. Please try to keep those cameras and microphones off just to lower distractions for our friends around us. If you're having trouble seeing the slides, we are using Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Edge as a browser may be helpful. A copy of the presentation will be sent to you afterwards, though. So if you missed part of it or would like the PDF of the slides to reference, we can definitely make sure you get a copy of that. We are going to be monitoring chat throughout today's presentation, so please feel free to send any questions that you might have. As I said, today's presentation, we're going to be covering the veteran-owned small businesses, the VOSBs. We'll be going over what that program is, how it got started, and what sorts of property is available to you. My name is Jess Chambers. I work here at the West Virginia Purchasing Division, which helps oversee the West Virginia State Agency for Surplus Property. I'm joined by Matt Harper, who is our warehouse supervisor down at WB Surplus for short. Matt's actually the one who's going to be processing any applications you all send in to get registered for the program with us or be getting property. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Matt and let him get started here.
Good morning, folks. Good afternoon. So real quick, let's go over a little bit of history with the federal VOSB program. Federal Property Administrative Service Act of 1949. It authorizes state surplus agencies such as WB SAS to coordinate and the donation of property retired by the federal government. Veteran Small Business Act of 2018. It was signed into law on January 3rd, 2019. U.S. Small Business Administration and U.S. General Service Administration developed policies and regulations for the program to be active. We, West Virginia Surplus, we actually have 20 registered VOSBs as we speak right now. Who is eligible? You can only receive property for the state your business operates. West Virginia SAS cannot process a request for a business operating in another state. And you must complete the Veteran Small Business certification at VetCert. You can apply at veteran-owned small businesses or service disabled veteran-owned small businesses at https://vetbiz at .va.gov/VIP/. Keep in mind, state agencies have no control in the certification process, and this process can take six weeks to 3 months, and I've actually seen it go a little bit further than that. All right, so who is eligible? Veteran status. Okay, so a veteran is a person who served on active duty with the Army, the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard for any length of time, and who was discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable discharge. Reservists or members of the National Guard called to federal active duty or disabled from a disease or injury incurred or aggravated in the line of duty while in training status also qualifies veterans. A service disabled veteran is a veteran who possesses either a disability rating letter issued by the VA establishing a service-connected rating between 0 and 100%, or a disability termination letter from Department of Defense. Ownership. At least 51% of the business must be directly and unconditionally owned by one or more veterans or service disabled veterans. Control. The veteran owners must have full control over the day-to-day management, decision-making, and strategy policy of the business. It must be in the highest compensated employee unless the veteran can explain how taking lower compensation benefits the business. You got to devote full time to the business, hold the highest officer position in the business, and has the ability to exercise independent business judgment. All right, so this is a list of some of the things that you can actually get from the federal surplus. I won't go over every item, but you can get agricultural equipment, like farm equipment, lawn equipment, stuff like that. Boats, computers, construction equipment, fire trucks, household, as you can see, tools, trailers, tires, pretty much anything, except for land and real estate is not available through this program. All right, now this is what people actually in the past has got from us. Now that fork truck itself, I got that from Korea. I had it shipped over here. And a better known small business actually pertained that fork truck. We get them overhead cranes, truck mounted cranes, welders, batteries and chargers for forklifts, air compressors. Recently, one guy got a 2009 Jeep Patriot, parts washers, load banks, items like that. Now this is actually pretty interesting here. If you look at the pallet on the top right-hand side there, that is a pallet of clothing, military boots, stuff like that. And the thing is, the organization got that is it's called Recovery Point, and they actually help the homeless and help drug addicts, stuff like that, back into society. So they actually received all that to help their customers. They got generators. Highways Department got the snow plow there. DNR got the boat at the bottom, and they actually, I don't remember what agency got this, but they took it.
That was a child development center up. I want to say around Morgantown. They got this old shipping container that was being used as a research site, and they made that into a little mobile kind of portable library pod for their daycare center. These are, while they are not veteran agencies, they were able to access the same sort of property that veterans would have access to through this federal property system.
That is correct. All right, so screening federal surplus, we have screenshots here. However, keep in mind, if you do not have a application with me, I cannot give you access to PPMS. You have to go through the process of going through the SBA. Once you get that letter from them, then you can file an application with me. Once you do that, I can give you access to this PPMS. I do have slides here. However, I am going to show you real quick live on how to kind of walk your way through it.
Okay, bear with us just a second. We are going to do that live demonstration here now.
All right, once you log into, you're going to go to, all right, you're going to go to property functions. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of mouse trouble here. You're going to go to property functions, where it says search and request property. You'll hit search property. Now, there's two ways you can do this. However, if you use the advanced search right here, you actually have to have an item control number right here. So, and you'll never know what that is unless you actually on the thing. So you'll actually go back to property functions, search property. Okay, get it off the advanced search. Get off there. There we go. All right. First thing you want to do, you want to uncheck all the blue check marks. So you want to uncheck them all. All right. And then say if you're looking for farm equipment, you're going to go under agriculture equipment and supplies. And this is going to pull up everything that is on for agricultural supplies. As you see, you got tractors. And if you scroll down, they don't always put pictures of the items. But what you always want to do, it says where it says condition, it says repairable on that one. It says scrap on that one. You never want to buy anything that says scrap. Okay. Now repairable, that could be anything from a flat tire to a battery. Okay. So there's always, if you, well, I can't add the card or nothing like that, but if I click on right here, it actually goes into bigger details of what might be wrong with it. And should have you an email address down here. Oh yeah, right here, right there. Scroll down, it shows you the contact information of who you can talk to. You can call them up and ask them what the actual problem is with that piece of equipment. Once you find the item you're looking for, let me get back here. Once you find what you're looking for, this item control number is what you want to send when you request the item. And you actually, you actual email Bill Pierce. His actual email address is william.d.pierce@wb.gov. Anytime you want to request an item, you send him the request and the item control number that you want to request. Also keep in mind the location of the item. Okay, so right here's the location, address, contact, and reporting agency. You want to keep in mind that wherever it is at, that you have to go pick it up. Now, we can pick the items up for you, but there is a charge when we pick it up. There's fuel cost, labor cost. And also keep in mind, whatever item you're looking at, yes, this is donated property, but we have to charge a service fee. And the federal government requires we charge up to 10%. So keep in mind the acquisition cost, where it says right here, total acquisition cost is $36,961.48. So we're going to charge you $3,600 for that item. Okay. And again, that's not, it is processing fee. But yes, so keep in mind it is 10% of the acquisition cost. Oh, well, we can, more examples. Anybody want me to look up something that they're looking for? All right, now, so Connex box. So I'm gonna have to ask, what would that be under here? Let's see. Okay, let's search my name here. Yeah. See what pops up with that. Okay, no records found.
Shipping container.
Yes, try that one. And see, that's another thing. If you do not know how they worded it in the system, it will not find it unless you use word for word what they use. There, look, we go. We got shipping containers. Okay. Look over here. Now, I don't know what they say repairable on a, well, that's a desk. Okay, so that didn't pull up nothing. Okay. Here we go, shipping container. It says unusable. I don't know what they would mean by that. Oh, I'm sorry. It says usable. And I got my glasses on. Okay, so it looks to me like they only have one, two. As you see, they do have quite a few of them on here. And again, it'd be 10% acquisition cost. And you would have to, on this, on a shipping container, you would actually have to do the shipping yourself. We got trailers. We do have flat trailer, but I don't know if our flat trailer would haul it. So keep in mind, it'd have to cost you about about $140, $150, something like that.
We did get a question in asking for Bill Pierce's email. We will send that again. And we had another question asking for a way to get more information about the item. Matt, can you go back into this and show us again where we could see that contact information for an item?
So whatever item you're looking for, whatever item you find, you see there's a number here. It's got a line underneath it. You want to click on that item, okay? That item number. You click on it. And again, this tells you more information about the item. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom there, you want to have contact information, where it's located and stuff like that.
There is also information provided in this item description. You can see it does go into a lot of details about the item, and that's generally where people will put, that what repairs are needed. But for specific questions, they do also give that information.
Yeah, where you can call them and get all the information you need.
Okay, I'm going to be switching us back over to our presentation and out of this live demo. I did see someone say the website did not work for them. Just as a reminder, you do need to have that be registered to get that password to get in there. But we will be we'll be providing the contact information for Matt and where you can send specific questions for this program. So if you are having specific things, once you are registered, we can get that set up. Okay, we do have our presentation going again. We do have screenshots of everything we kind of went over as far as viewing and what you need to send over. But let's hop back into the actual meat and out of that.
All right, so the federal program does have a compliance term. It is 12 months from the acquisition, must be able to place the item in service within 12 months of acquisition date. Okay, once you get it in service, then there's a compliance period of 12 or longer, up to 18 months. And what that is the acquisition cost. The acquisition cost determines the compliance term. Compliance. Can't think of the word I'm looking for. Anyways, all right, so you can only request items that can be used for your business. No personal use permitted. So if you own a farm and you want a side-by-side or a four-wheeler, you cannot take that four-wheeler on the Hatfield-McCoy Trail on the weekends and joyride with it. It is for farm use only. And again, must be able to place the item in service within 12 months of acquisition date. The federal government maintains title to property for 12 months or longer based on the original acquisition cost. Items with original acquisition cost of $5,000 or more has a compliance period of 18 months. Now, by the title, this is actually how date that part is. Once you purchase it, like say if you purchase a truck from them, once you receive the property, I will send you a form that you need to fill out with all the vehicle information on it, make, model, whether it's gas or diesel, the weight limit, stuff like that. You send me that back. I send it to the PPMS, and they will actually send me an SF-97 form, which is a request for title. I will send it to you, and you personally will take that to DMV and get a title made for whatever item it may be. All right, so unauthorized sale, disposal, cannibalization, or destruction is prohibited, which means you cannot buy this 2018 Chevrolet Silverado for the transmission for your 2018 Silverado. You are not allowed to do that. And this right here where it says verification of use may occur during the compliance period, I promise you, somebody will show up at your property and make sure it is where it's supposed to be and used for what it's supposed to be used for. So that's guaranteed.
One question we did receive in advance was, what happens if you get a piece of equipment, you do have that 12 months from the time that to get it into service, but what happens if you get the equipment and turns out it is beyond what you were able to repair? What is your situation there?
All right, so what happens there is you will let us know, and we will send an email over to our main person with GSA. And what he's going to tell us to do is you're going to have to return it, okay? And here's the thing. When you return it, you have to pay either to get it to our warehouse over in Dunbar, or you have to take it back to where you got it from. They will give you a refund and stuff like that. But however, as long as you're in compliance with it, if say something needs a transmission and you can't get that transmission for 13 months, you need to send us an email stating, well, this is what's going on, and I can get you an extension on that. We can get you an extension on a couple more months or whatever you need to actually get it working. But if for some reason it is, like I said, out of your money wise, then yes, it will have to be returned. So this is some important links that I'm going to set right here for a second, because you need to actually, I would suggest writing these down or taking a screenshot. But again, we can get you the information later. The Veteran Small Business I can't talk today. Veteran Small Business Certification, the VET cert, it's HTTPS / veterans.certified.sba.gov /. Okay, the PPMS one, this is kind of like a user guide, but again, you won't be able to get on that until you have an application with me, and I actually give you an account where you can get on there and view items. West Virginia SASP, that's us, which is wvsurplus.gov. State surplus lookup is https tinyurl.com /your SASP. That actually gives you, if you're I don't know if anybody here is from another state or not, but if you are and you're wanting to know where your surplus location's at, or who it might be, that's where you want to look up your where your surplus is at. This one right there. All right, so if you have any questions, you can use chat to submit any questions. Please do not share any personal identifiable information.
We have had a few questions come in already, and we will be going over those. And a couple we have already answered, but we will go through those here again. But go ahead and submit those in. While they were coming in, though, we are going to add Bill Pierce's contact information to this slide before we send it out to everybody. And I will also add it to the chat here in just a moment. But that's Matt Harper. There's also just a generic email for WV Surplus. So if you're ever unsure, just send this to Bill, just send this to Matt. You can send it there. We will make sure it gets to the right person. We also have contact information you'll be getting for all of our friends who kind of joined together here as part of this webinar series. That includes the West Virginia Small Business Administration. Again, those applications are going through SBA. The Department of Agriculture, we know we have several people on for their Veterans and Heroes program. The West Virginia Business Administration, the ODU Veterans Business Outreach, and the RACA. While we also wait for just a few more questions before we get started on those, as a reminder, there are 2 more webinars coming up in this series. That includes the VET Cert certification for veteran small-owned businesses. We did briefly talk earlier about you have to do that before you actually come to Surplus to get registered, and that's going to be going into that into a lot more detail, as well as that SAM.gov registration process. If you're signed up for this webinar, great news, you're already registered for those next 2 sessions, but go ahead and save the date for those, and feel free to share that with anybody who might be interested. You don't have to go to all 3 webinars. Hop into the ones that are useful to you. And we are now going to hop back to our questions here. How does this work for real estate properties? Real estate is not available.
Yeah, if real estate is not available, and to be honest with you, I have no idea. I know you can't go through PPMS and get property. That is a no-no.
And does each state have its own certification point of contact like Matt? Yes, they do. They do have their own contact.
Absolutely.
If we hop back here on those important links, that state surplus lookup, it will have a link to your state agency's surplus. There's generally a listed person there. If not, it will give you a phone number and contact for the organization as a whole, and they will get you to their own lovely version of Matt.
Absolutely.
We are happy to help you, even if we are not in your state. But again, each state has its own policies. We can only speak for what we're doing here in West Virginia. The VET Cert is available in all states. This is a program in all 50 states. The VET Cert, from my understanding, is universal. They will be going over that, I'm sure, in more detail in that July 11th presentation. Once VET Cert is done, then each state might have a slightly different application, but they're going to be looking kind of for that same information. Okay, question. My business is registered in Kentucky, but I do sales and production in Ohio and West Virginia. What state do I do this program in?
Kentucky. Absolutely. It is whatever your business, wherever your company's located at is the state you go with.
And to verify, all of those presentation times are in Eastern Standard Time. They will be in Eastern Standard Time. We did have somebody asking if we could briefly go over for the registration again. I am...
They need the emails.
We are actually going to hop back to kind of the beginning of our presentation here. What we talked about kind of at the beginning, for those who might have come in late, there is the VET certification you need to complete through SBA. And we have a link to that here in the presentation, and they'll be going through that in more detail on a later date. Once that is done, you will actually go to wvsurplus.gov, and under forms, we have our own application that you will complete. We also have kind of in this, what are those requirements as far as your status and the ownership.
Now, once I get an application, well, once you do the SBA part and you want to file an application with me, um, I will need proof of your income. Okay, I need a budget report, a definition of what your organization does. And the reason that is, when we get audited, if say you're, I'm trying to do a little small example here. Say you own a little chemical plant or whatever it may be, and you want weapons, and since you mark chemical plant or whatever it may be, um, I won't be allowed to get you guns. Matter of fact, I can't get you guns anyways. You have to be I forget what kind of license you got to have. But anyways, so with that being said, I'll need your budget report, a definition on your letterhead and the application, and the SBA license sent in with it.
Okay, we have a question. Can you review the auto titling process again? I know we had somebody get a vehicle. What was that process like for them?
Okay, so again, once they got the vehicle, however, PPMS changed the way they do things now. It used to be we would get the title in our name, and then we'd send you the title for you to take the DMV and get it in your name. However, now they skip that by process. They actually, I will send you a piece of paper where you give me all the information of the vehicle. Like I said, the make, the model, gas or diesel, the weight, the mileage. Once I receive it back from you, I got to send a request into PPMS to get that form. It's called a SF-97, which is a certificate to obtain title. And once they send it back to me, that actually be in your name. Then you take that to DMV and get title made that way.
Okay, another question we have in, do I have to wait until the Secretary of State completes my application to get a vet cert?
Yes, you do. Again, you have to go through the SBA program to get the small business license. Once you get that license and you prove that you're a veteran, like again, it could take 6 weeks to 3 months to get certified through the vet program. And once that is done, then you send an application. I cannot do nothing without that SBA license.
We're still going to be taking questions, but we're going to hop over and actually show you where that form is on the surplus website. And that way everyone can kind of get a look at that as well. We have a forms section here. If you went under programs, you would also see the veterans program where you can find some of this information.
If you go to programs, it'll actually show you all the links that you need to go to complete your process.
But this is what the actual form looks like here on our website. You can see we're asking, are you certified through all of those things? And it will go through in detail. Here's all of the technicalities that we need. Here's all the information we need. Once this is done, that's when we can get you that login to go in and actually screen for the federal property. Okay. For those details regarding specific items, i.e. weapons, auto tiling, SF-97, returns of non-functioning equipment, can there be guidelines provided? I believe there's probably is an official guideline out there for this sorts of property. We will see what we can find to make sure that is sent out along with it. If there is anything that would come back to be concerned about, we would let you know if you're asking for something that's going to require extra effort or possibly not be available, such as weapons. And if you're requesting equipment that is scrap, Matt and Bill, anyone at surplus, we are going to kind of stop you and say, you're getting something for scrap. And we're going to also make sure if it's repairable, are you able to actually do the repairs that are needed? What's your timeline?
Yes.
We will be making sure that you are aware and everyone's in communication for what needs to happen.
And also keep in mind, just because you request an item does not mean you're going to get it. All right, because PPMS, they got certain ways how they divide stuff up between states and stuff like that. But if you request something, first 2 times you get denied, do not let that discourage you. Just keep looking, keep requesting items, because eventually you will get something. Again, I don't know how they do their little calculations. But yeah, just keep in mind you're not always guaranteed the item.
Okay, and Kim Donahue with the SBA, they have shared a couple of links in there for veteran business development officers, some additional resources that are available to you. So we are still we have time to take some more questions here. As a small scale farmer, what do I need to provide for certification?
I cannot certify you in no shape or form. All I can do is approve your application to purchase federal property through West Virginia SASP.
When we talked earlier in the presentation, there is a slide that briefly touches on about the eligibility for that control for your farmer. You want to make sure you have that 51% control. You're in charge of the business decisions that are being made. But all of that technicality, that's going to go through that vet cert process. So that will be covered definitely in more detail in that July 11th presentation. And we also have shared in the chat that Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture from the West Virginia Department of Agriculture. That's a great program and resource. I highly encourage you to check it out if that is relevant to you and your business. If someone is a disabled veteran, do they get the vet cert first and then the disabled veteran? I think that's going to be a vet cert question. Yes, I don't think we're actually able to. We're not quite aware in detail about how much that works. They just give us kind of a high level. That will be July 11th question. But also feel free to reach out to your local SBA folks. They'd be more than happy. Yes, there will be a copy of this presentation going out to everyone who registered. They are also in the chat, so they might be able to pop in and give you a little bit of clarification. But if not, I am sure that they will be going over that there in July. And someone did confirm the vet cert. It actually covers both statuses, so you just kind of get it one time there. Ronald, I do see your question coming in. I am not sure. I think that's going to be a certification question that we are unable to handle. We are much more equipped to talk about actually getting the property and what that comes through, and kind of hopefully getting you excited about some of the things you might have access to. As you saw on that list earlier, outside of the real estate, you can find a little bit of everything in the federal government, from medical equipment to paint to shoes. I mean, it's kind of everything. Yes, both next presentations will also be through Microsoft Teams. Okay, it looks like we have people dropping off the chat. So we are going to go ahead, I think, and wrap it up here on our end. Thank you for everybody who took time out of your morning to come and spend it with us. We hope this information was valuable. We are going to add Will Pierce's email address to the presentation when it comes out, so you will have that to actually make those formal requests. Matt is here, as well as all of our friends who were on that contact list. We are all more than happy to help you get the information you need to participate in this program. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns, and we will hopefully get a copy of this presentation out to you soon. Thank you all again for attending, and we hope you'll join us for the next one here in July.
Thank you, and have a good day.